extra time.
Wondering exactly what happened there after the start that Johnny and Jason gave you, that you went from 135 for no loss to end up by losing by 66 runs.
No, not really. I know exactly what happened. We made mistakes. India bowled well. I think for the majority of today's game, we played really, really well. And it's a shame that we couldn't build on both the bowling unit's effort to restrict India to 318 and our two fantastic openers, the way that they played up front. We sort of failed to continue to build partnerships from there, and that was what happened with.
What can you put that down to, bearing in mind there were runs obviously there to be made, as the openers showed? What was it about the rest of the top order, the middle order, that wasn't able to do as those guys had done already?
Yeah, I think so. I think India, hit good lengths. I thought the wicket we played on today was outstanding. It offered a little bit for seamers and was beautiful if you managed to get yourself in. So when obviously Johnny and Jason established a partnership in the fashion that they did, it's the way that we want to play and impose themselves on the game. When other players tried to do that, India held their own and held their lengths really well. And I think that's evident in the way that guys got out. They're all playing attacking, positive options, which is a nice insight into the mindset of guys, the way they play. I think if we were all getting out, sort of prodding or playing defensively, it'd be a bigger issue.
Obviously a tough defeat today, but do you guys feel like you can get back into the series and win it from here, despite disappointment?
Yeah, absolutely. I really think we're a dangerous side to play against, particularly the way that we went about our business for the majority of today's game. I think if we'd have played really well and been on top form, we'd have chased that total down in no time. But that wasn't meant to be. India are a tough side to beat. They're one of the best sides in the world majority of the time. So given, we always compared them to a side like Australia that are very consistent when it comes to their white ball cricket. So it's always a tough challenge playing against them.
You need to win at least one of these final two games to hang on to that number one ranking. How fiercely do you guard that, and how proud are you of that status?
We don't fiercely guard. We actually don't guard it at all. It's not something that we talk about in the change room. Everything is built towards planning, being competitive at a World Cup, and trying to improve our skills over that period of time.
After that great start, you were looking for a contribution from sort of the middle and the lower order, some guys who haven't had a lot of batting recently. Was that a detrimental effect, some of that rustiness?
I don't think we could have asked for better conditions if we're looking to get runs. So, certainly when it comes to myself, the wicket that we played on, yes, maybe tough starting on it, but once you get yourself in and get past that stage, you couldn't ask for a better ground to go and bat and find some form and get some balls and runs under your belt.
Obviously, you went off, I think it was in the 41st over, and India had a strong finish to their innings. I don't know how much you were able to see, if you were getting stitched up at that time or anything like that, but what did you make of it? Did you think almost that England lost their way a little bit at that point?
No, I don't think so. I think the ground we're playing at is, it's a really good batting wicket if you get yourself in, and the boundaries are not that big. So to hold India at bay for that long, I think is a fantastic job from our bowlers.
Ben Stokes was promoted to number 3. He had an impact with the ball. You talked before this game about how good it was to have him back playing one day internationals. What did you make of his day?
Yep, pretty good. He contributed where possible. Obviously, moving up to number 3 is something that he's done for a short period of time, a long time ago. But Ben is more than capable of fulfilling that role. He's one of our best batters in all formats.
And similarly, Moeen Ali, he hasn't played a lot of cricket, and it looked maybe like he was someone who, going well, he may have even got you over the line at one point.
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest the strongest points about our batting lineup is that, you know, Moeen comes in at 7, Sam Curran at 8, and our top 7 batters have all scored pretty quick international hundreds. So it's, I mean, less than 60 balls in majority of the cases. So it's a nice position to be in, but obviously we want to make it count as well.
Does what happened in the batting maybe emphasise the importance of Joe Root at 3 in the order? I suppose not that it was particularly needed, because obviously you know how important Joe is.
Yeah, Joe's world class, particularly in that number 3 spot for us. You know, his role is such an important one for us, and obviously him missing out does leave a big hole. But Joe needs a rest, and he needs some time at home with his family.
Virat Kohli said at the post-match that this was one of his sweetest victories in recent past, and he's a really proud man, etc. I mean, obviously, you know, to beat the world champions is never a mean feat, but I guess a lot of the messaging from yourself in this series has been very much about learning and building squad and expanding. How difficult is it to sort of maintain the hunger that you need to sort of cement your number 1 status while at the same time doing all the other things you're trying to achieve with the squad?
Yeah, again, it's not about cementing the number 1 status. It's about building a group of players that hopefully will bring something really, you know, of quality in a World Cup. I think both, if you talk about motivation or determination, both that and learning go hand in hand. So the competitive nature in which we operate isn't always about learning and making mistakes. I think sometimes people take how much quality you have to produce in an international game to win for granted. You know, you can't just have a good plan and win a game, or you can't just learn along the way and lose a game. It has to work simultaneously.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.